it is a sole responsibility, more of a sole responsibility to the center. I agree with whoever may say, of course, governors in the subnationals are also accountable and they must be held responsible for the security of lives and properties of their people. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in virtually all of our constituencies, given the opportunity, everyone here can rise to tell you the account of what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it is not religious. Mr. Speaker, it is not even political. This fight and this menace of insecurity in Nigeria is something that does not have any identification of one's party or one's religion or one's tribe whatsoever. It is a calculated attempt to demoralize Nigerian state. And if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, even for those of us who take politics more seriously, we'll have a very big question to answer at the end, because it is like this unnecessary insecurity going on. This is a high level of conspiracy targeting our political processes. As we are approaching 2027, Mr. Speaker, we will all be expected to have a peaceful conduct of our polls. How do you have that if our communities, local communities, are plunged into crisis, into banditry, into kidnappings in the churches, in the mosque, even down in the oil-producing area, which is our economic live wire? Production of oil, crude oil, is being unfortunately undermined by militia groups. So it is like a collective thing that we must put our hands on deck and call whoever is responsible, sir, to order. Order, order, and order. And this House must not take for granted that we are not part of the government. If the government is wanting, this institution of the legislature is a component of the government itself. We have to look inward to ourselves and see what more of oversight functions, like some members have said, are we going to make? Are we going to provide? Mr. Speaker, we can even declare legislative emergency. Close the House, shut it up. Who are you legislating for? What laws are you making when the country is running in blood? The country is running in blood and tears. You cannot go, the farmers cannot go to farm. Our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here? Mr. Speaker, if the government is not prepared to actually do the right thing that will protect the lives and property of our people, I urge on you, I urge on this honorable House, as a House of the people of Nigeria, to stand up to pay the supreme cost. And that is no more than to shut this House down and to call emergency on any legislative issue and wait until the right thing is taken by the government of the day. Mr. Speaker, I also want to believe we are equally responsible. We should also go down to our constituencies and lead civil organizations, like the civil vigilante. Let's go and reorganize our vigilante groups. We take commands and take charges of such civil organizations to see how we can salvage and protect our country, Nigeria. What is happening today, Mr. Speaker, is not just to call for mere security or an average performance of security agencies. What we expect of Nigerian government, no more, no less, my Speaker, is to have absolute security. It's for us to have absolute safety. Mr. Speaker, Nigeria must have absolute protection of the lives and property of our own people. This is my take, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to use the opportunity to tell you that my immediate constituency, which is enclaved at the southern part of my state, Kano, is also undergoing serious danger, because in the constituency we have what we call the huge Polgore Game Reserve, lying in between Kaduna State, Plateau State, Bauchi State, through Ningi and Bura, Mr. Speaker, and also contacting some part of Jigawa State to the axis of Turkey. This place used to be a tourist attraction. Many people come in, including tourists from abroad. But because of the dilapidating security situation in my state, Mr. Speaker, today, abduction and kidnappings, not only in the forest, in our homes, has become a daily affair, a daily occurrence. Just like what the pharmacist may prescribe to you in the hospital to ask you to take Panadol once in the day, in the morning, one in the afternoon, and another one in the evening. That is how kidnapping is so prevalent in my federal constituency. This place that used to be an attraction for tourists, it has now become like an extension of the Sambisa forest in Borno State. So we have to definitely do something. Mr. Speaker, I may not have enough time to continue my submissions, but I want to thank you so much for giving our members this opportunity to speak. And I also want to urge members to continue in the spirit we have started. I have not seen anybody here speaking as a southern member of the House of Reps. I have not seen anyone here speaking as a northern member of the House of Reps. I am the leader of the Northern Caucus, not the Regional Caucus. I am also not speaking as a member representing the northern part of this country. The security challenges that we are facing is a colossal one, it's a collective one that has to do with the Nigerian nation. And we must step up to that expectation and deal with this matter once and for all. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you, and I want to thank honorable members for listening to me. And I also want to further tell you that I have not lost my hope in the renewed hope agenda. I'm still a proud member of the APC.
No, we can see it from your cap.
While I commend the celebrated Honorable Ado-Doguwa, it is important to note that we are the hope of Nigerians, the parliament. We are the fulcrum of democracy. It doesn't matter how emotional we get, it doesn't matter how burdensome the problem is. We cannot argue that the parliament should be shut down because the problem is much. This is the solution hub of the nation. I want to say that we should be careful in projecting what might be misunderstood by the people outside this chamber. Mr. Speaker, no problem is too big for the parliament to handle. We will not shut the parliament. We will stay here together because we have best brains gathered from all over the country. We will find solutions to our problems. We have faced stronger problems before now, Mr. Speaker. Last dispensation, upper dispensation, we faced problems. We never shut the parliament. It will not be this time that the parliament will be shut. We are capable, we are able, we will find solution to our problem under your leadership. We will not close the door. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
I noticed that anytime we talk of security, Nigeria Customs Service is always omitted. And to me, is a mistake because most of these weapons that these non-state actors uses comes either through the land borders, both approved and non-approved borders. Also by seaports and airports. That is why the custom is so critical in fighting insecurity. Just recently, we had a program called Sea Pact. That is Custom Partnership African Cooperation in Trade. And what they are trying to do is to bring all the customs heads and custom formation in Africa together, so that if there's any movement of unauthorized goods coming maybe from South Africa to Nigeria, it has to pass through some border before it gets to Nigeria. So it must not be Nigeria Customs that must arrest such unaccustomed goods. And this program took place in the villa. I was there. And all the custom heads in Africa came. So this is one way to fight this menace. And if custom is not being called all the time, they call security chiefs to the villa, I believe our work is not well done. Because what they use to fight is the weapons and ammunitions. They cannot fight with bare hands. And it comes through importation. Recently, Nigeria Customs intercepted guns at an airport. For what? Is to come and cause insecurity in our land. I want to suggest that for our borders to be well monitored and for these weapons not to move freely within Nigeria, there is need to also make custom to be what? More proactive than they are now. And what do they need? They need support as well, just like the military. One of the major problems that we are trying to, not mention in this insecurity that is ravaging the country is to talk about our family size. I was discussing.
Time.
I was given 3 minutes.
1 minute remain.
Okay. I was just discussing with my colleagues that all these bandits originate from some homes. And they are not from heaven. Somebody gave birth to them. I was listening to one video whereby they said they want to go and meet the mother of the bandit's head. I was shocked. Does it mean somebody is having a relationship with somebody killing people in the bush? So there's need for us to look at our family size, just like other countries that we compare our developmental stage with, like China, like United States of America, like UK, so that all these children that we cannot train, that have now become a source of problem to us, will be controlled. This is my own suggestion to this discussion. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Changokolo, member representing Eka Northeast, Eka South Federal Constituency of Delta State. I start by thanking Mr. Speaker and the principal officers for this great initiative to address a major concern of all Nigerians, including those here and those that are not here. Let me say that I align with virtually what the earlier speakers have said, that the security architecture of the nation have actually failed. It has failed in its entirety. What is, like my brother Ado-Doguwa said, what's happening in the north exactly is happening in the south. There's no southern part of Nigeria that you can do to say it is safe. Outside Lagos, every other state is troubled in the south. Before going into details of what is happening in the 3 segments of the south, let me commend the southwest governors for taking the bull by the horn. At least they've been able to unite themselves. They've been able to form a strong guard, the Amotoku Security Corps, which are, sincerely speaking, if they have not been there, it would have been a different story today. Ogun State, Osun State, Ekiti State, Ondo State, they are not left out. It's been all the same story. Coming to South-South, where I come from, the Delta, who are not spared at all. Ranging from Uyeli, from Olomu, there's problem there. You go to Uru, there's also a problem. Coming to Eka, where a lot of people have been killed. At the end of the day, nothing happens. In fact, it's so worrisome that you go to police say they are coming, their vehicles are never around because they don't have what it takes to match them. Of course, you wouldn't blame the police, but the indigenes are also part of our problems. So we need a complete reorientation because it is the indigenes, the people driving Chaba or Kada, whatever name you may call it in your own area, that gives information to the kidnappers that they use in operating. They are also the ones they will say going to buy them food, buying them suya. Because when you find them, they detail the kind of food they want to eat. They are not, this is not the kidnappers that go to Mr. Biggs or whatever to buy the food. It is indigenous. That's where we talk about reorientation. Yes, the architectures have failed, but what are we doing as our own people? The indigenous of the area, we need to sit up. Without that one, the government cannot do it alone. How many policemen do we have in a station that we are relying on the police? Is it the civil defense we are going to rely on? What are their numbers? It's only recently, because of outcry of Nigerians, who are talking about recruitment. This recruitment ought to have been done long before now. So I'm also happy that they are talking about thousands of recruitment to the Nigerian army, into civil defense, into immigration, and all that. Recruitment is another thing. But let me say that we must take due diligence in the posting, even after the recruitment. Sir, I need to say here that you discover that the bulk of the job is done by the rank and file. But the rank and file that is being posted today are posted in the areas where they don't even hear their language. Without the knowledge of the local language, you cannot penetrate the syndicate. So we need the commanders could be from anywhere, but the rank and file that are involved in day-to-day operation must be people that hear at least one or two languages of the environment where they have been posted to. Without this, we will make headway. What do we do now? Thank God for the government of President Asuwaju, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for what he has done. The kind of money in the hands of local government is more than they have ever received before. Maybe we may have to come up with a law where stipend must be recommended for the vigilante groups to strengthen them. Because there are some communities, they can't even get fuel. They can't even afford fuel. So these vigilante groups, they need to be funded from the local government as a way of encouraging them to do the job. Once they are funded, I'm sure they'll be able to do good work with the policemen. Government, on their own part, yes, the roads are unsafe, the roads are unsafe. The roads are unsafe. It is time for the government to take immediate decision. What do we do with our roads? All over the world, only the government cannot fund the maintenance of our roads. If they are going to give it to private sectors, repair the roads, tow the roads, will get the money, so that by the time you are traveling, because you discover that if the number of kidnapping that have been recorded between Lokoja and Okene is worrisome, the only way out of it is let's get government to come and improve on our infrastructures, or get private people, businessmen who will do it, and the roads will be better than what we are seeing. Only about a month ago, 4 directors of Ministry of Defense, they were kidnapped. I don't want to talk about those who are returning from call to bar ceremonies. They were all kidnapped. They get to where the roads are bad, and they get there. So we need government to take immediate decision. It's not all the roads government will be able to do. What do we do? Invite private investors, maintain the road, tow it, recover our money over a period of time, and so that we'll move further. Again, yes, you invite the service chiefs, they all come here. There is good collaboration at their own level. They have not been able to drive that collaboration down the ranks. I'll give you an example. By the grace of God, and by the discretion of the House, I belong to the Security Committee of the House. During the budget defense, we all agreed, what do we do to assist the various agencies under our own federal constituencies? And it's okay. The way to encourage them, maybe from our own budgetary provisions, we'll make provision for offices, we'll make provisions for barracks. It is heartening to note that one of the projects in my federal constituency have been stopped. The policemen say that where the project is cited belongs to them. It will not continue. That project has been stopped today. If there's collaboration, somebody is building something for the maybe civil defense, the Department of State Security, and you know it's to make your sister organizations comfortable, and you are not stopping it. Is there collaboration among them? So the service chiefs must learn to drive collaboration among the various services down the drain, so that there will be more collaboration. Because at times, even sharing information, they fight who is in charge, who is not in charge. Oh, we are going to arrest. If you arrest, so the service chiefs have a duty to do. They need to drive it down the drain. Of course, recently, the Mr. President created Ministry of Livestock. Today, they must be able to distinguish where are we going to marry the issue of colony and ranching together. So that by the time it is done, I'm sure that we'll get it better defined. It is necessary so that these issues, because it's all borders on security. Of course, owners of cows, must learn again to return to the traditional way. Those who take care of their cows, in those days, they used to give them maybe 1 or 2 cows at the end of the year. They fall back on it. But today, you discover that when you interview them, sir, because if you're a security man, you must find out what are their problems. They now pay them peanuts. So they are not longer encouraged. Because they are paying them peanuts, they are willing to be used by the money. Therefore, sir, I want to appeal that we should look at that. And once we do that, South is also not left out. You go to Olo, there's a problem. You go to Kigwe, there's also a problem. Coming towards Enugu, where you have boundary with Benue State, there are also problems. Sir, we need a holistic approach. And I'm sure that by the time we take some of these measures, we talked about borders. The border is essential, sir. If you have been to Cotonou border or any of these borders, you discover that the harm the chabas, the Okada drivers do is more than anybody can contend with. Let's see if it can be enforced for them to stop the use of Chaba Okada at our borders, because they are the ones that they weaponize our own country. Yes, coming with trucks, customs to a reasonable extent are able to intercept. But what about the ones being hidden under the seats of the motorcycles? How do you discover them? Because they get there, they easily arrest them. So for the want of time, I want to stop here. And
Maki Eleman, I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamuduri Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I stand to speak as a chairman of Police Affairs, and I'm trying to see that I speak within my scope of jurisdiction. First and foremost, I must commend you, Mr. Speaker, and past speakers, particularly the Deputy Speaker, who touched almost the aspect of what I was supposed to speak. Mr. Speaker, today we hold a special plenary session on national security at a time we confront a hydra-headed security challenges across the entire theater of our national life. Mr. Speaker, today we are confronted with hereditary kidnapping, terrorism, armed robbery, and other security challenges. Their challenges are prevalent in most operational theaters of our society in operation. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, in the entire Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, and part of the Southwest and South-South, with this security instance become almost daily events. As the chairman of Police Affairs, I'm fully aware challenges facing the Nigerian police force. In its statutory role of internal policing, the country has the least police destination in the whole world. The Nigerian police is currently overstretched, underfunded, underarmed, and underpaid. This is coupled with the other institutional challenges also confronted by the Nigerian police. Policing a nation as big as Nigeria with its population it is not a small job. I know that efforts have been made by the police under the current leadership of the Inspector General of Police. I have a personal contact with him. I see how he's struggling to see that at least he corrects some menace in the police formation and command. Mr. Speaker, for us to improve the Nigerian police, it has to start with the recruitment policy. Mr. Speaker, we have to ensure the fit and interested person are transparent, recruited after the background due process to see that we recruit eligible personnel to the system. Mr. Speaker, also we have to have a rampant renovation of our training institution nationwide. My honorable colleagues, I want to use this opportunity also to see that there is need for improving the more funding for resource orientation activities of the police through the strengthening of the various intelligence gathering unit, recruiting more hands, provision of quality state and equipping provision of adequate arms and ammunition.
Honorable
improving
Kaoji,
the response,
congratulations, you have
of
been
human
promoted
capacity
to my
development
seat here.
in terms
Please,
of training
come and sit down.
and retraining, improving the welfare
Come
of
and
the
sit down
current
here.
personnel.
No. Come and sit here. It's a
Mr.
big
Speaker,
promotion.
my honorable colleagues, in summary, there is need for more funding in police formation and command. Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to draw the attention of my honorable colleagues, particularly the Chairman Appropriation, Chairman Finance, and the leadership of this holy chamber to see that they facilitated
1
in
minute
making
more,
sure
please.
that
Honorable Yelma,
police
1 minute more.
funds are being released immediately, sir, because you can see how they are struggling. Even recently, the Commissioner of Police in Zamfara was calling me that they need vehicles. Even we are short of vehicles. The IG cannot do anything because there is no any fund. Even their own overhead, sir. Today we are in November. They only receive up to July.
Honorable Maki.
So please, Mr. Speaker, leadership, honorable colleagues, we need to put head together and see that there is more funding, particularly in Nigerian police. Because all what we are discussing of internal security. And internal security is the responsibility of Nigerian police. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. And thank you, my honorable colleague.
Thank you.
Satomi Ahmad, representing Jere Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Borno State. I'll go straight to the point, Mr. Speaker, to brief the Honorable Chamber. Today, we are all gathered here to discuss the security situation in our country, and so also to discuss the way forward and solution as parliamentarians and the great peoples that are representing our respective constituencies, which we suffered much from all the complaints, issues that emanating from our respective constituencies. Mr. Speaker, the Committee of National Security and Intelligence is saddled with the responsibility to oversight all issues that has to do with security, national security in our country, and precisely this Department of the State Services, Office of the National Security Advisor, the NIA, National Counterterrorism Center, etc. So far, so good. The State Security Service have been very instrumental for the various success recorded so far against the various threats in national security. They provide nationwide surveillance and deploy a sophisticated and efficient network to gather intelligence which is shared promptly with the relevant institutions and stakeholders. The security report, which covers the whole spectrum of criminal activities, provides credible and actionable intelligence to prevent criminalities before it happens or arrest culprits that are involved in criminal activities already perpetrated against the country or its law-abiding citizens. So also, the current security challenges across the country, the Office of the National Security Advisor has the capacity, the coordinator on all the national security issues, chairs weekly meeting on a joint intelligence board where the head of the intelligence agencies, military, paramilitary agencies, and other relevant strategic institutions of government met and deliberate and discuss the issues of national security in our country. The point against the various criminalities and acts of terrorism, insurgency, banditry are carried out, criminal element against Nigeria. So from our interaction with the relevant agencies in the national security architecture, we have received glowing testaments from the heads of various agencies of the NSS support to the agencies in the executions of their mandates. So also other agencies like the National Cyber Security Center, National Counterterrorism Center, and also National Agency for Control of Small Arms and Other Light Weapons. Mr. Speaker, the committee has also engaged in the National Digital Forensic Laboratory as provided by the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act, and a lot of achievements have been recorded due to national security issues. We will submit all such documents in written to your office for the final resolutions in other sectors. Our findings and recommendations. The funding of the intelligence agencies and operations should be prioritized to complement the kinetic and non-kinetic institutions.
30 seconds
The training
more, please.
institutions of the SSA NIA are also to be strengthening to enhance the competency of intelligence personnel to cope with the ever-dynamic national, global, and criminal terrorism. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I will also, as a son of soil in Borno State and one of the most heated communities in the Northeast, I will tip in one or two things and commend this Honorable House for bringing such a fora for us to deliberate, discuss. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we are here, 360 men representing the entire Nigeria. We may all escape the judgment of man or woman because of imperfection, but let's know there is the judgment of the Almighty. Today, our people need our voice. We are here. Mr. President has graciously, all of us, all the previous speakers have talked about funding. But we need to remember these fundings are of three categories. There are funding for the central government that has to do with the federal government. There are funding that is going to the states.
Please.
And all these criminalities...
Round up, please. Time up.
Sir, I have only three. You gave me 5 and 3 minutes. I can pinpoint 3 minutes, sir. So therefore, the state funding. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to ask, what are the governors doing with the funds given to them? The state funding is very critical at this material time. And Mr. Speaker, Mr. President has graciously, under the leadership of this honorable chamber, created 5 additional regional development. Can't we sit down and resolute that all the funding going to this regional development should henceforward prioritize the security and welfare of our people strictly on fighting against terrorism, banditry, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, today, as a country, we need to look beyond the kinetic measures. We need to look beyond attacks and operations. Mr. Speaker, let's look at the technological aspect of the terrorism fighting. We must imbibe the culture of technology, big data, artificial intelligence, for us to proactively stop all these things and menace that is happening in our country. Mr. Speaker, you have done well, but I still call upon on behalf of all of us that such kind of fora should be created more if we will take even our weekends to discuss. If the American Congress will choose 7 hours to discuss Nigeria, I see no reason we will not take 24 hours to discuss our people. Mr. Speaker, I am sure with what is on ground, we have the capacity. Nigeria is number 30 globally in terms of defense, 3rd in Africa. There is no issue that we cannot contain. It just has to do with coordination. Proper mechanisms should be put in place so that we will face these challenges squarely. Mr. Speaker, create a room that employ Nigeria even on a voluntary basis. Today, if you call the young people between the age of 18 to 25, 1 million will turn out to volunteer to finish this crisis and madness in this country. So, Mr. Speaker, I call upon you, distinguished colleagues, that we should look into bringing in the new blood to fight this menace, because it's their generation. It's the generation of the Gen Alpha, Gen Z. Therefore, we must do by what it takes for us to end this madness in our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity, and I thank my respected colleagues for listening. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Take up to zonal presentations today. Tomorrow it will be general debate where each and every member will be given opportunity to speak. But the only one rule we have and which I am notifying members in advance, is that whoever wants to speak, since it is a motion, and we want each and every motion to be well documented, we need you to give us in advance a written submission so that we can file, call you when the time comes for you to present, and we have a paper to at least capture in our votes and proceedings adequately. So please, all members who have individual contributions, tomorrow throughout will be dedicated for the continuation of the security debate. We will only take security committees today, and zonal contributions and regional. Rest will be tomorrow. So we give as much time as we can, because it's a very important issue that we need to discuss exhaustively and take a final resolution of what we need to do as a House. Thank you very much. The next to speak is Honorable